In today's Christmas spot, we are having a look at the Funko A Year Without a Santa Claus. This is the Heat Miser and Snow Miser vinyls. So how tall are these little fellows? Let's go ahead and tape measure. Heat Miser is about 5 inches in height, while the Snow Miser, counting his hat, is closer to 6 inches in height. Each of them come with their own display stands, and the reason why I say their own display stands is the fact that the stands are specifically designed for one character over the other. Don't believe me? We'll take the stand off of him, grab the stand off the Snow Miser, and if they can hopefully stand, you can see the difference between the two. Line them up like this. Heat Miser has 2 broader looking pegs, whereas the Snow Miser has one skinny little peg and one broad peg. I really don't know why they didn't simply just use the same stands for both of the figures. And then you can just attach them to the undersides of their feet. Again, the broader pegs will have to be lined up with the broader peg holes of Heat Miser. And those just plug into place like so. Do the same with the Snow Miser. And again, very skinny. I don't know why they just didn't simply use the same pegs. Anyways, those plug into place like so. And it certainly helps to have the 2 figures standing just a little bit better. The Year Without Santa Claus is one of my all-time favorite of the Christmas kind of marionette stop-motion movies. It is basically a year without Santa Claus. Santa Claus decides to take a break, and Mrs. Claus has to go visit the Snow Miser and Heat Miser, and I would say hilarity ensues. But it again is one of my all-time favorite Christmas specials. Now here, this is actually coincidentally enough the first time on this channel we're looking at the vinyls, and it won't necessarily be the last, because I'm really loving the design choices that Funko went with when it came to the vinyls. Both vinyls here, and not even so much these ones, but when we eventually start looking at the Stranger Things ones and the Freddy vs. Jason, yeah, there's a Freddy and Jason one, they have a very distinct look to them. And they remind me of the old like Rankin Bass cartoons. More importantly, the Rankin Bass Wizard of Oz or Land of Oz series. I think that's why I love these guys so much. They're a departure from the pop. They're certainly a departure from the Dorbs. They're their own little thing, and I hope that Funko continues to want to release these in their different various sorts. There's He-Man, there's Stranger Things, like I said, there's the Freddy and Jason set. There's a whole ton of them. There's actually even a Wizard of Oz one that we're going to be looking at as well. But wanted to look at the Christmas ones, of course. There was also an Elf, and I think there was also a Yukon Cornelius and Bumble set. At the time of this year, I don't know if I'll be able to pick those up, but I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can score those. Anyways, looking at the Snow Miser and Heat Miser, I do like that the Snow Miser has the little icicles underneath his nose, and they are a clear plastic. The rest of the figure is more of a solid plastic if you don't technically count his cane. And his hair is actually much like the stop-motion short, stop-motion special. It does have kind of a translucency to it, as if it's frosted ice. You can see like it's got like chiseled angular sort of edges to it, which I think really looks cool on this guy. You can't remove his hat. I don't really know. I don't think you necessarily would want to display him without the hat anyways, but you can't remove the hat. Face is really good. Again, they're very unique styles to one another, so their sculpts are not at all shared with one another. I miss the Snow Miser. Again, like he's got his little clear cane. That's also not removable. It's sculpted into him. Paint overall on this guy is good, although it is a few little areas where paint's a little on the questionable side, like things didn't line up, so to speak, when they were printing it. The feet have a little bit of paint on them, but otherwise that, I mean, the head sculpt and the paint is pretty good here on Snow Miser. Posability on these guys are limited. This is all you're really able to do. Because his hand is also sticking up, it makes things a little bit more tricky as well, that you can't really move his head past the point of the hand. So that's about all you can really do. Arms are not posable, waist is not posable. What you're essentially getting is very similar to the Pops in the way that they only have just the swivel on the heads. And that's all you're really going to get. Moving on to the Heat Miser, a little bit more of a portlier fellow. Both of them do have like these very blocky sort of torsos and a much more realized, rounded, sculpted head. Here he has the flame hair like he does also in the special. I keep wanting to say shorts. It's about a half-hour special. And the flames again on the top, painted really nicely. I like the transitioning of colors from the yellow over down to the orange. He's got the red ears, red nose, and he's also sporting a little flame in his hands. The only thing that's missing from these two is that they don't have their little corresponding dancers that pretty much look like them. They're just smaller versions of themselves. Down below, as again, much like the Snow Miser, paint's somewhat a little questionable, but overall, otherwise that it's pretty clean. Other than, again, like a few little areas here. The panel lining is done nicely, even on the sleeves and the collar. Paint, again, there's mileage there. Not everyone's may have the same problem as I have. For example, I've got that little line right here, but from a distance, you're really not necessarily going to notice that. Posability on the Heat Miser is the same as the Snow Miser. His head just rotates all the way around. You can at least clear the flames. Unlike Snow Miser's hand, you can't clear that. So at least with the Heat Miser, you can rotate his head all the way around. I actually have picked up a whole bunch of the Funko vinyl figures and just haven't gotten around to doing the reviews yet, but they will come. It just so happens that with Christmas season, and we're kind of getting near the last little bit of Christmas, about a week or so before the big holiday, I definitely want to have a look at these guys first, and then we're going to have a look at the other vinyls in future videos, so certainly stay tuned for that. From a standpoint of the vinyls, Funko does release an awful lot of stuff. Primarily, of course, the Pops. You have the vinyls, the mystery minis, the Dorbs. Of course, then you've got the plushes and stuff as well. They're always trying to find ways to expand the properties and the franchises that they're releasing for. But I think this is the first time where I feel like Funko's really putting a lot of effort into doing something just above and beyond, taking the same initial mold and just kind of carbon copying it to multiple released figures. Here you really distinctly get a sense that they went in and they sculpted the individual torsos. The heads are very, drastically different from one another, that they do feel like their own thing. They hopefully continue to release vinyl figures, and I say vinyl with V-Y-N-L. The vinyl properties, I think, has big potential, and I'm definitely looking forward to reviewing the other ones. In the meantime, though, we can't get ahead of ourselves for the Christmas spirit. Of course, we wanted to look at today, the year without a Santa Claus. This was the Heat Miser, this was the Snow Miser, this was the Funko vinyls. If you haven't done it already, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. Of course, more Christmas spots will be coming to you. Got about a week or so left, about a week and a half left of Christmas goodies. And of course, we're going to have some regular videos on this channel as well. So if not Christmas is your thing necessarily, that's okay. There's going to be other videos on this channel as well for your viewing pleasure. Thanks for watching as you do, guys. Really certainly appreciate it. Thanks for commenting down below. I always like reading new comments from you guys and having discussions with the guys that are watching these videos, guys and girls and owls and zombies. Do appreciate the zombies that watch these videos as well. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.